Welcome, Crusader fans, to another edition of the Valpo Coaches Show, brought to you by the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. I'm Aaron Levitt. Joining me today, men's soccer head coach Mike Avery. Mike, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Aaron.
Obviously, a very exciting time for your program right now. I know you don't like to look too much at the rankings or anything like that, but I think it's only fair to note first ever top 25 ranking in program history. The Top Choice Soccer poll came out earlier this week, had us at number 25. And also the first RPI release from the NCAA this season had us at number 9, the highest the program's ever been ranked. Obviously very exciting. I know, though, from a program standpoint, you want to keep looking forward. You don't want to focus on the past accomplishments, what you did earlier in the year. It's all about moving ahead. Is it challenging with the team to make sure they're in that mindset of looking ahead and not focusing on rankings or anything like that? Or is the group as a whole good enough that they have that mindset that it's all about the next game?
Yeah, I think so far we've been good. I was, to be honest, a little worried about that yesterday. The ranking comes out, Twitter blows up. I see our guys retweeting and favoriting, and you just wonder about their mindset going into the game. And so then the question for me is, when I go into the locker room for the pregame, is do we ignore it or do we just head on and talk about it? And so we just talked about it. It's a really mature group, and I just said, listen, I mean, we want to be ranked. We expect that we're good enough to be ranked. So let's not hide from it. And now that you have it, this is what you've always wanted. Now that you have it, can we fight to hold on to it, right? And that's really been the idea, is to fight to hold on to it. Look, the reality is that rankings don't mean anything right now. It's halfway through the season. We have a whole other half of the season yet to play. The RPI doesn't mean anything right now. It's some statistical thing that they throw together that I don't even understand how they do it. I know this, that we were in the raw RPI number 6 overall. We played at Belmont and won and dropped to 12. So obviously the RPI doesn't have a lot to do with a lot of things that I can control, right? And so we just play games and we take them one at a time, and even more scale it back from there. We don't just take one game at a time. We're taking one day at a time. We've got a good group. Things are going well at the moment. There's no question about it. You get through half the season, you only have one loss. But the most important part of the season is in front of us. And it's all about how we can gather points in the league race, put ourselves in position to get into the league tournament. Maybe then talk about winning the regular season of the league, but you got to get into the league tournament first. Then you got to, hopefully play for the bid to the NCAA tournament. These are the steps that we have to take, and we can't skip any of them. We have to go one step at a time.
You took that first step last Friday against Belmont, a rather unique situation. For the second straight year, your team actually played the first Horizon League game against a new team in the league, last season being Oakland, this season Belmont welcomed as an affiliate member. Can you talk a little bit about that unique experience, getting to be that first Horizon League game, especially at their home field?
Yeah.
And then a little bit about the game and how it played out.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I was joking that I wouldn't mind if the league let someone else do that sometime, because it is the second time in a row where we are the visiting team. It's not just a game, it's an event, right? They have special shirts made, and there's a big crowd, and it's exciting. I mean, it really is exciting. And at the end of the day, as an athlete, as a coach, we want to be in these kinds of environments, so we welcome it. It's okay. And they're going to be a good opponent, and they're a good addition to the league, and so we're excited to have them. But it does present some interesting challenges. Plus, it's a place we've never played at before, so you're figuring out travel, where to stay, where to eat, what's their field like, what's the environment like. All of these different things are new. And I thought overall, we handled it pretty well. It was a game that we knew was going to be a little tricky, to be fair. Our schedule has been very difficult in terms of a lot of games in a short period of time. If you read RPIs, rankings, records, that's a game that we should just run through. And the reality is there's no game like that. It never happens like that.
Especially in league play.
Especially in league play. And so you have an excited, motivated opponent who is a good team at their home place, and we've got to go in and figure all these things out. And so I thought the guys handled that game pretty well. I mean, I thought the first half we were tremendous. We had the ball almost the entire half. We scored 2 goals. Things were pretty comfortable. And then as we talk about with our team, when you get in a 2-0 lead, the fight is for the third goal. If you score it, the game's over, right? But if they score it, the game is on. And that's what happened. They got kind of a fluky goal from our perspective. That's found its way in, and then we really had to come together and battle. to the end. And so, you come away from a road game with 3 points, we're excited about it.
And how difficult is it in a league game, especially when you're the first league game for an opponent, a new team to the league? You go into league play, normally you know what other schools do. Well, you've played them year after year. How difficult is it being that first game and really going in kind of blind and, not having experience playing?
I think most of the pre-scouting that we do is more comfort for me and for the coaching staff, to be honest with you. I think we do prepare. We give our guys as much information as we can. But at the end of the day, our scouts mostly focus on us and what we need to do. And we might shift a thing or two or pay attention to a player or two, but at the end of the day, we're worried about how we play. And so I don't know that it's that different for our players. I really don't. I mean, the game is going to teach us something. I mean, even if you go back to Belmont, everything that we had seen in the 8 games prior to that game, they played in one lineup, and then they come into this game and play in a totally different lineup. And so you kind of throw the scout out the window and figure it out anyways. And that's the reality of it, is that, it's a player's game, and so we've got to do the best we can to give as much information as we can, but then we have to sit down and watch, and then the players have to figure it out. And that's where veteran players come into play, and we have great senior leadership in the team, and they can help to figure out what is this particular game doing, what's the challenge in this particular game, and then how do we solve it. And I thought, again, we've done well with that all year long. Hopefully we can keep that up.
Then coming off that Belmont game, you had the Dayton game on Monday. A lot of games in a short period of time. You throw a non-league game in there as well, you alluded to earlier, the tight schedule. How important was it for you to keep that game on the schedule against a quality Dayton team? They came in just having beaten Ohio State. And then looking at the game itself, obviously a very exciting game. You get the late equalizer, coming out with the result despite some challenges from your side.
The Dayton game was a problem on our schedule because we had it scheduled originally for a Sunday. We didn't have Belmont in the picture; they weren't in the league, and then so we had Dayton on Sunday, UIC on Wednesday. It's a good schedule. Dayton's a great team. We're fortunate that they'll come to our place to play us. We played at their place last year, and then all of a sudden the league adds Belmont, and they add them into that particular weekend. So then we either drop the game or try and move the game, which we couldn't do. We explored it, we couldn't do it. Or we just keep it and adapt the best that we can. And I actually talked to our older players. I said, look, do you want to play these 4 games within 8 days, or do we want to drop one of them out and better prepare for the Wednesday game, which would seem the reasonable thing to do. And I love our guys because they said, no, well, let's play. Let's play everybody that we can play whenever we can play them. I mean, that's kind of been the attitude and the mentality of us as a scheduling philosophy. And I think it's kind of permeates the team. We like these environments. We like these games. And so you get a chance to play at Dayton, let's play. You want to play Northwestern wants to play at 9:30 at night? I don't care. Let's play at 9:30 at night. You want to play on a Tuesday, on a Thursday? We'll play whenever we can because that's why we're here. We want to try and do it. And so it presents a challenge. It'll present a challenge for Wednesday night's game, but we're not there yet. We've got a training today to worry about, and then we'll get to tomorrow.
And looking ahead to that UIC game on Wednesday, again on the road, back in league play, you always want to earn the points in league play on the road. You got 3 already at Belmont. Knowing how tough everyone is at home, and especially knowing how quality a side UIC's been the past few years, how important is it to go up and try to earn a result up there tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think this early in the league schedule, there's 2 ways to look at it. I think yes, if we can get something out of the game, it's terrific for the league race. The league's not going to be won or lost tomorrow night, and so it's not a hugely pressure-filled game. We can go out against, like you said, a good team. They've been arguably the best team in the league over the last few years. They're off to another good start this season. But I also like how we match up with them. I think that we can give them some problems too. And it's a beautiful place to play. They have a great facility, a nice wide big field. So I think it's a game that we can do well in. And hopefully that turns out to be the case. The game's always been tight when we've played them. It's either been a draw or a 1-goal game, one way or the other. I anticipate it'll probably be in that realm again, and hopefully we can come out on the right side of it. Because if we can get a point with a draw or get all 3 with the win, that would certainly set us up nicely as we go into the last bit of the league.
Well, Mike, thanks for being here today. Good luck against UIC Wednesday night. That game against the Flames, you can follow live stats through valpoathletics.com. For all your Valpo men's soccer news, follow at VUMSO on Twitter, like Valpo men's soccer on Facebook, And for all things regarding the One Valpo campaign, you can visit valpoathletics.com/onevalpo. For all your athletics news, follow at Valpo Athletics on Twitter, like Valpo Athletics on Facebook. For Coach Mike Avery, I'm Aaron Levitt. This has been the Valpo Coaches Show, brought to you by the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. Until next time, go Crusaders.